Good morning. We are in Erie, Pennsylvania, KERI. And today my goal is to show off a new plugin that I found that that works with the GTNXi 750 and 650. And after I got my big screen beyond 1, about a year and a half ago, I started flying only like G1000 planes or glass cockpit planes, mostly G1000 planes. And so I kind of left my the steam gauge that I was flying before, and I got that headset. I used to fly the Cessna 172 with steam gauge, and I had a 530 and a 430 in it. So they were certainly didn't have all the bells and whistles like a 750 and a 650 have. And so I hadn't really even looked at it. And I think I was watching a stream or something. Somebody was kind of showing this off, and I kind of looked at it and went, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." So I went and investigated a little bit, and it said it had VR controller support. And I'm like, "Oh, I use VR controllers, so that's kind of cool." So it would be certainly an upgrade for the steam gauge Cessna 172. And so I did a little bit of research, and it looked okay. So I said, let me go ahead and buy it. And so I went and bought it and played around a little bit. And then I found on explain.org, I found somebody had done a mod of the default Cessna 172 that have the 750 and the 650 in it. And they have the S-Tech autopilot. I think that probably is already here. So, but what they did is replace the 530 and the 430 with the 650 or with 750 and 650. So that's kind of neat. So I went and started playing with it, and of course I'm going to play with it in VR. And I found out that the ignition switch here, it had a problem. It was hard to kind of get this thing to start. And so I looked, and there was no VR config file for it. So I went, oh, okay, well, let me grab one of mine from, grabbed one from the default Cessna 172, and I kind of changed the name so that it would work, and then modded it because I removed the 530, 430 listings in that VR config file so it wouldn't error on me, and kind of modified the ignition, the magneto switch here so it kind of performed a little better, and that seemed to work okay. So I tested a little bit, and the other thing they had said was it doesn't work with the VR mouse cursor, and so I did some exploring on that, and that is true. The VR mouse cursor won't work with the screen. This only works with the a VR controller. But what I did find out is that if you pop these screens out, you can click right here and pop it out, click right here, pop it out. The popped out version will work with the VR mouse cursor. So I went, oh, that's kind of neat, so. And the other thing I found is this is the first touchscreen that at least I found in VR that actually works. So that's kind of cool. So without further ado, guess we'll go ahead and get the plane started. And so we'll turn Turn the beacon on. Master on. And a little bit of fuel. Could probably just do this. Turn taxi on. Huh. So as soon as I start the engine, frames kind of play around. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know. It ain't gonna affect what I'm gonna be doing today, so. Because I'm unlikely I'm gonna fly. I haven't quite made up my mind yet, so. Alrighty, hide the yoke here. And I get this set up. Where are we at? That's pretty close. Altimeter looks about right. I need to fix this. I don't like how this works at all. There's the way I've made this work in the VR config file isn't, I'm not happy with it. I'll put it that way. Okay, so let me turn the avionics on. Oops. Come on. That's down underneath my yoke, so only probably one of my base stations can see it. Alright, so we got this thing, it says it's me, so if I click on the, let me see if I can get this working. So if I click on the continue button here, and continue button here, that works. What do we got? So the text here is quite small, so I've got to lean in just a little bit, but it says Navigraph database, 2511, that's the current one. So continue. I'll just continue. Alrighty, so what do we got here? Oh, we got TAWS.
TAWS system test okay.
So TAWS went okay, so I can click the message button. That's all it said. Click it again, it goes away. I'll do the, whoops. Alright, I inadvertently opened this up. One thing I found is the 651 opens up monstrously. So if I click over here again, that goes away. And now on the other hand, if I click on this one, this one's a bit smaller. But one thing I've found in VR is all the things that show up here in VR are monstrous. It's kind of like it's like you've got a headset that has like the poorest resolution that you could even think of. And actually it's not impossible to read, but it's not as good as it could be. So what you can do is you can come over here, and this is the other thing. Notice that all these are highlighted, or can be highlighted. So if I grab the corner, pull the trigger, and make it a bit smaller. So it's a little bit bigger than what it is in real life. But I can just put it like right over here, kind of a bit out of the way. And the way I judge if I have it right is I do this. I put it on map. Is that round? If that's round, then this is symmetrical. So if you get it kind of messed up, you can use this. That's a circle. It should be a circle, not an oval. And so you can get that way. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So now look, if I put the map on, see what it looks like? So it makes it kind of obvious. Like, how do I make this better? Well, I got to bring the bottom up. So let's get it up, get it up, get it up. And I think I'm going to want to bring this in. And actually, I'm going to want to go in quite a bit with this. So I'm going to go in about like this. And then I'm going to bring this up until I get it to be a circle. That's pretty close. So, going a little bit more. Okay. So that's a little bit bigger. So, we can go here. So that, and then if I click on, I think it's home. Now home goes to the icons, and trying to think how I move them. I'm not sure. Oh, there's a slider over here. It's not easy to see, but this is a slider. Well, that's not what I was looking for. Maybe that's not a slider. I'm trying to figure out how I would. So you can see, like, to do a flip, you just click on the upper one. So what I'm trying to figure out is how I and maybe there could be a chance that that's all you get. So let me click on home. I don't know. Well, I ain't gonna worry about that too much right now. Well, that's all that one's showing. So maybe that's all on the, it could be, and I haven't looked at this real close. It could be on the 650. That's all that shows. That all the rest of these icons are just unavailable on the 650, and I will kind of think that that's the way it is. So, so we can kind of go over a little bit here. So like I said, map is here. So if I wanted to, and if I want to go to, so that's 29, so that's ground. So when you click on the lower one, the standby one, it basically gives you this pop-up where you can put the number in. If I click up here, then it's going to put the standby in here. So you notice you can't. There's no knob. So if I come over here, you can see where I can highlight the inner knob, the outer knob, and if I come up here, this volume knob, but that doesn't work in the pop out one. So we have to kind of find a different way to do this. So we'll say I clicked on go to. So I need to select a waypoint, and normally you would come over here, rotate the knob, and that would happen. I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to click on go to, and then I'm going to click on this right here. It does exactly the same thing. So now what you can do is, we'll say I'm going to put KH. I think it's ZY. Northeast Regional. Okay. So I'm going to click on enter. And then down here, it highlights this. It says activate. So you can see that I have, I've put a go to that. Now, if I go back to home and I click on flight plan, so it shows that. And if I want to add a waypoint, and I'm gonna add K, L, N, N, and hit enter. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Go back to home. So I want to insert it after K, H, C, Y. Nope. Oh. K-E-R-I. Let's get rid of them. If I highlight this, okay. I'm gonna do K-E-R-I. Okay, so back to menu, map. So if I go out, so when you're on the map here, you can pull the trigger down and you can move it around. So we're going to go from Erie to KHZY to KLNN back to Erie. So, menu. Yep. Cool. So that's all done. If I go to maps, zoom in a bit. And because I have a Navigraph, it actually like shows the airport and all that stuff, and also you can go to like charts. So that shows the chart here. I can click on full, and it's kind of small, so I'm gonna make it go up a little bit so you can see where all the so this is where the plane is. So depending on what the weather is, we would either taxi to 6, so we would taxi here, 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 to here, or if we're gonna go to 2-4, then we're gonna taxi this way, Delta to Alpha, Alpha all the way out to Alpha here. And that would take us to runway 24. But these are Navigraph charts. So if I go down, trying to find, just make it out. So it's Navigraph Jefferson chart. So, and now if I want to split, so I can split it, and so I can get out for it. So we can see if we have any departures. There's no departures for hearing. But there are, there's no either one? Really? Interesting. No. Really? Huh. Ah, there's approaches. Okay, there's no departures or arrivals, but there's approaches, so. So that's what the approach would be, so. Okay. Go back. Map. Alrighty. Okay, so that shows like where we're at. So, so like I said, if I want to, so let me look. So this is COM 1, and trying to see if I would. If I want to use COM 2, I think I have to use this one. So, yeah, so that's ADA. So if I go over here, that puts that up there. And then I have to turn on, and I do it here, audio panel. No, I don't think so. But if I click on this, yes.
And hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information there. Hotel. Erie International Tom Ridgefield. Information Hotel. 1451 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 6, 2. Wind 055 at 10. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, broken at 900 feet. Solid overcast at 1600 feet. Temperature 5. Dew point 3. Altimeter 2973. Density altitude -100 feet. Bird activity in vicinity of airport. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information hotel.
Okay. So that's how you'd use COM 2. is you have to use the 650, and you set the COM2 frequency in there. So doesn't look. Doesn't look like you have a nav frequency. All I see is a COM frequency. Interesting. Yeah, kind of appears that way. So I'm trying to think what else. Okay, so under flight plan. So we're gonna go here to here, here to there, back to Erie. And yeah, I'm not gonna fly with. I don't know what's going on quite right now. I thought I heard some rumblings about there's some issues with ortho for XP stuff with the version of X-Plane I'm running, and that may be what I'm seeing, because I'm certainly not going to fly, but I kind of it's not terribly affecting. I should be seeing 38, and I'm not. So I'm not going to fly today, but I wanted to kind of show how this works. So now, a bit of a downside, but that's just the way it is. So if I click on here again, that's going to hide that. If I come back again, notice that's going to be, it's bigger, but it isn't as big as it was when I first put it up. So that's kind of interesting, you know. So build this one. I'm gonna close this. So he shows up pretty big. All right, so that all right, so that's that. And yeah, that there's something really wrong. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go over here, and I'm gonna enable my mouse cursor. So this is something that I normally don't use. Whoops. I don't use the VR mouse cursor, and it will be obvious pretty quick here. So I'm trying to find my mouse. All right, okay. So when it's out there, it's like way out there. So when I move it back closer, then now it comes inside the cockpit. So if I come over here, notice it went from an arrow to a hand. If I click on that, that opened up. Now, it's attached to my head. The reason it's attached to my head is that X-Plane has no idea the only thing it knows, if you're using a VR mouse cursor, is where the headset is. Doesn't know anymore. So what you have to do is you have to reach up, and it is really hard. Got it. So what I had to do is look up through the top of my lenses and basically grab the top part. So I'm gonna unclick this. With my trying to find my, if I highlight this, pull the trigger down and pull back, this window will come with me. Pull down, I'm gonna put it right here. That is impossible to do using the VR mouse cursor. So it makes it quite difficult to try to use it. But what I found you can do, if I highlight it, I'm gonna actually move my head way and highlight it and pull my head back. So if I'm holding down on the move bar and I move my head either in or back, then it's going to move this window. So I'm going to come up and get the middle of it, hold down, and try to make it a little bit smaller. So now, I'm going to try to put it, where do I want to put it? I'm going to put it pretty close, right in front of me. All right. So, if I come over here, notice you don't see anything on this touchscreen. That cursor's the same. But when you come over to the button, you can see the cursor changes. So if we come down to this knob, you can see the cursor changes. Same way over at the home button there, the cursor changes. But inside this touchscreen, that doesn't happen. On the other hand, if I come up here, you can see there's a little blue dot. So if I come over here and click on this, notice that worked. If I click on this, that worked. I click on the map, that worked. So although moving the window in a place that would be convenient would be difficult, once you have it there, the VR mouse cursor absolutely works with the TDS GTNXi. That absolutely works. So that's a possibility, you know, for people that are have a cockpit and they don't want to use the VR controllers. They want to use the VR mouse cursor. This will work. This will absolutely work. It's a little pain in the butt to kind of get it positioned, but once it's positioned, then it absolutely would work. So, and I can do the same thing. So I'm gonna grab it and put it over there. And quite frankly, I'm at a loss as to, with the limitations of a mouse compared to a VR controller, how you would legitimately improve this. I know I hear people, you know, that, you know, yeah, the VR mouse cursor is really terrible. Yeah, okay, I got it, but in moving a window, how would you make it better? How could you actually make it better? I suppose if you have it highlighted, is there a possibility that while you have it highlighted, you could use the mouse wheel to move it in and out? I suppose that would be a possibility. It wouldn't be easy by, you know, it's a little difficult to do that. So got that top bar highlighted. I have the left pushed down where I can move it if I move up and down, but if I move the mouse cursor in and up and down, you know, that seems to work. So let me do this one. And this one's a little bit smaller, but it's really, really hard. There she is. Okay. Let me click on the map. Let's do some. There we go. Alright. Probably need to roll this in a little bit. Move this up a little bit. Alrighty. Click over here on home. Yep. Yep. That all seems to work. So it isn't like the this doesn't work. It absolutely does. It's real fiddly. Part of the problem is the one behind it. It's kind of catching the attention. There we go. But it is like just way just way difficult to use. Just is, you know. Not that it doesn't work. No, it absolutely has functionality, but it's difficult to use, and it absolutely doesn't work. The touchscreen part of this doesn't work here with the VR mouse cursor. It does not work. You know, so bye bye. Okay. Okie dokie.